I'm so sad. That was the wrong video, but they were in different spots. I almost want to just do the right video.
Are you sure you don't want? You sure you don't want to put my intro in there too? I mean, shit, we did yours.
So let's do it. No, just kidding. All right, let's just start.
This isn't week one anymore.
Brady's
I mean, one player gets hurt, and then boom, here you go again.
Yeah, he did
on my phone. He uploaded a bunch of videos, and it threw him in different spots. So I'm was scrolling, and I'm like, where are they? I just want to get going. So I apologize for the mishap. We're here on a rare Wednesday. Med is not in South Carolina. Where are you at, buddy?
I am 7 miles south of the Canadian border, up in Minnesota. What's that other butte? You know, it's definitely been some culture shock for me. The cuisine's been great. I told them about some of the food I've ate. It was sea-packed shrimp on top of a bed of lovely Lay's potato chips with chipotle drizzle. If that sounds great to you, congratulations. That's what I had.
Chef's kiss on that.
Sounds just lovely. I'm gonna have to find my accent.
I just gotta.
We're talking 5-star meal right there. It was really delicacy.
Swish.
I love it.
Elijah Brown, congratulations being first. Cowboys for life. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got a Packer show, although I'm hoping Brady's down to talk a little Bears because the NFC North is in a weird state right now, but we got Brady back. He was on in May. And I'm really excited. I love bringing people back on the show, and it's been a few months. Brady, why don't you tell everybody where to find you and how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing well. I would be doing better if I'd had a victory Monday this week. Pretty much everyone else in the North did. So, we're the bottom dwellers now. But I run Green Bay Packer Nation on Facebook.com. So if you look up Facebook.com/Green Bay Packer Nation, you can find me. I'm at the Green Bay Packer Nation on Instagram as well. And then we do a little bit of YouTube stuff that we're building. And I'm trying to kick off the second season of Hot Cheese, which is a podcast I started last season.
Ooh, that sounds like
more to come.
Yeah. Hot Cheese. Yeah. I had a show on last week called Sounds Good. I was like, man, I need to have a Swiss name or something. I got my other co-hosts from football. Bill, if you decide you want on, let me know. Link is not going to be on for an hour. And if we go that late, I don't think we're going to go as long as we did last time where we went almost 3 hours. But we've got a lot to talk about. Yeah, exactly. If we did 3 hours, I had a sub today at my school, and I just did a workout, so I'm fired up. But I have to just say this. I'm just happy it's not an ACL, but that game couldn't have ended any worse for the Packers other than if he'd torn his ACL. The way Levis just didn't look prepared for the last play. It sucks to get tossed in the last play, though, so we got to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But our defense didn't look great. Outside of Jaden Reed on offense, I have concerns, but it is just 1 week, and I try not to overreact. Brady, what'd you think of that game? I got to get your thoughts.
Well, I heartily agree. But really, when it comes down to it, the most important thing you just said was except for the fact that it wasn't an ACL. I mean, and then you get the videos coming out, the close-up videos, the way this thing is filmed.
Oh, yeah.
And I've had 3 surgeries on this knee. I blew out my ACL when I was a sophomore in high school. And I posted a video of an MD describing it, and he said he thought it was MCL, not ACL. And I started to have this tiny bit of hope, but to find out that not only that he apparently didn't separate it at all. It was looking like a 3rd-degree separation. And it ends up being a sprain. Because see, that's what they told me. They said, you got a sprain, go rehab it. And I went back on the field, and then you pop your knee out at joint again. It's loads of fun. But to have Jordan Love back in the time frame that it looks like we may get him back is that is the clouds parting and God smiling down on us for something after that atrocious game. Now I look back on that game, and there was more good than it sort of seemed like at the time. It was nowhere near good enough. But there are some hopefully positives moving forward, and we are still a young team. And doggone it, we're getting our starting quarterback back way sooner than I thought by what I saw.
Oh, that helps a lot. Med, did you get to watch the game by any chance? The Packer Eagle game?
I was able to watch a little bit of it. I mean, of course, I was packing and everything, so
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. I caught most of the caught the first half of games, and then I caught a little bit of the other games, and of course, I saw this one on Friday. But yeah, no, luck is, that was definitely the football god smiling down on you, because I mean, with the way it looked like, it didn't look like it was going to be an MCL, and I had a strained MCL when I was playing back in the day, and the sucker still hurts. I mean, and the fact that he's going to be back in 3 weeks with
Hopefully.
Malik Willis being your starting quarterback, think about that.
I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about that. I don't know I want to know how Brady feels, but I don't want to think about Malik Willis. It's hard to think about.
The one good thing about it, though, is that you're actually on the softest part of your schedule this year, in my opinion.
Right.
So you could still walk out of this with 3 wins easy. And, it's just going to be how much can your defense step up and actually help, like, right the ship when Jordan Love comes back, because it's not going to be instant. Like, he's going to come out there and just fling 4 touchdowns, although it seems like that's what he does sometimes. But, your running game should be all right. I know that Josh Jacobs right now was marked as questionable because I have him in some of my fantasy football leagues.
Me too. I was disappointed.
Yeah, it was rough with that. Thankfully, I had Barkley, but it's just it. I think y'all be fine. Y'all had the emergence of Jaden Reed. I mean, he looked more and more like a number one as the game kept going. I mean, he was the go-to guy.
Yeah, he's setting records right now.
There
hasn't been a guy who's done that in his first 11 games since like 1961. He's yeah. It's pretty incredible what he's doing right now.
I accidentally started Higgins. I hate when I do this. I actually started Higgins, won by 3 yards because I had Saquon and Jaden Reed on that team. And they both had like 33 points in an ESPN league and saved my tush. It was great. Like, man, they saved me. And Jaden Reed, that is the thing that's got me like excited, because we need that playmaker on offense. I was actually really happy with our backup running back, Wilson, because I've been excited. I don't know if Brady, if I said it a lot on May, I can't remember. I remember a lot about the show. I can't remember how much I pushed Marshawn Lloyd, but Wilson, our backup running back, looked good too. I do want to be fair to Med and hit some Bears, because that was a weird game. I didn't get to see it. I saw highlights. I'm like, they didn't score a touchdown. They came back. What the heck happened? That was wild.
Will Levis happened. That's what it happened.
Yeah. Oh, that interception in the end zone. My God.
And the surrender Cobra that he did. He's the first meme of this NFL season. Trust me, folks, just go to Google, type in Will Levis surrender Cobra, and you'll be treated. So it was definitely but just to go back with the Packers real quick before we go to Titans, because I believe that y'all play the Titans in this 4-week span, correct?
Yep.
We play them next week. So we got the Colts this week, which I'm scared about. We go to Tennessee, and then we have Minnesota at home. Those 3 are winnable. And then we go to LA, and I actually think the Rams are a solid team.
Yep.
And then the Cardinals are our next 5 if he were to miss 5 games. I see 3. It just comes down to the quarterback play.
Yeah. And I mean, Sam Darnold, he lit it up. I mean, once in every 10 years, he does great. So there you go.
So he's already blown his wad. All right.
So y'all should be straight. Y'all should get that 3rd win. But
I mean, the Vikings have been able to win with managing quarterbacks, but I just hope that we aren't the Giants when they get there. And so, Malik Willis getting a little chance to sort of get warmed up. I do think we have a couple advantages here. Number one, this isn't his first rodeo.
Yeah.
He's very athletic and he can make the throws. And he's got Matt LaFleur as coach. So I don't think there's any excuses. And then even Matt LaFleur, I think, had a hard lesson to learn when he put Jordan Love out on the field against the Chiefs and basically gave him the same game plan. Now, he was under the gun to do that, but I think he has learned his lesson. I think he's going to give Malik Willis a smaller playbook. I hope he pulls a guy or two aside in that pass catching group. One of the tight ends, Jaden Reed or somebody, because I don't think necessarily, I don't know he's going to have one guy he's got a little bit of chemistry with, but because we can't just hand the ball off to Josh Jacobs all day long. But I do think that LaFleur, if he's learned his lesson, will dial him into some things that he can feel comfortable. I'm calling for play action pass right out of the gate. Let him unload one while the box is heavy, and a little short pass, and get yourself into second and a really solid second down, and get his nerves calmed down, and let's see what the kid can do.
I kind of wish we could see Clifford. And I know that's not fair to Levis because we traded for him. So I am excited to see Levis and see what he's got, even though he's barely played. So I'm intrigued by both. I think Clifford's more comfortable with the system. But I want to hit a quick couple comments really fast, and I want to keep going with this. We just got a lot of people throwing comments in. I want to hit them. Back it up, Binge. I don't know if he was in on the May show. This guy's awesome. Injuries week 1 are tough to take for the Finns. Mostert's out for the Bills with a cane, and I have a cane tomorrow night as a game time decision. These week 1 injuries, Nakua's hurt. We lost Jordan Love. They suck.
The one thing about Miami, though, that this might be good for him to know this is that when you got Jalen Wright, you got arguably one of the players that a lot of people felt was really the number 1 running back coming into that draft. Now, me personally, I didn't believe that, but he was definitely a top 2, maybe 3rd pick for me as far as running back goes. So, also, I mean, what's crazy, a lot of people really think that when you think of Miami, you think of all the offensive weapons they have on the outside with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and all that. But really and truthfully, their running game is super explosive. I mean, each one of these guys could start in most other teams. And, you know, I think you'll be all right with Jalen Wright back there.
I agree. I stashed him in fantasy for that reason. Mm-hmm. And by the way, go check him out on YouTube. He's awesome. Seriously. He does little 2-3 minute shorts, super informational, a lot of fun. He sounds like a professional, like a professional you'd see on Fox. He's that talented. This guy's the best. I hope we can get him on the show one day. He's awesome. I love every time he pops in with a comment. He's just a really cool guy. He's emailed me on the side. Really nice person. Never met him in person, but he's one of my favorite people. Seriously. So, okay, let's sign Favre. Hey, is he free? What is he, 55 years old now? I think he can.
55-year-old Josh Allen. I heard he needs some money anyway.
Bill, I love it.
Gunslinger might be shooting blanks at this age. I don't know.
Okay, let's hit the Packers really quick. This comment was interesting too. Clifford might know the offense better. That was kind of my thinking too. Peter said earlier, Peter said earlier the biggest concern is potential for re-injury. I don't want to rush him back. I would rather him set out 5 games, come back 100% than come back in 3 and re-injure it. I agree.
Well, that's very important with an MCL. I mean,
exactly.
It's a fortunate in that it's a medial collateral that you can just let it heal. And if you do that properly, you have very little side effects down the road. Like Med, you were saying about your ACL. I blew out my ACL. I've had to suffer.
No, mine was an MCL.
Oh, yours was an MCL? Mine was an ACL. And just like David Bakhtiari, you can wake up one day and it's swelling again. And for him, it would be a day away from the office. So the timing is pretty important. But the Packers staff is quite conservative on that. They've got a really good group of orthopedics.
I got super lucky in most of my leagues too, except Debo hit me hard. But I got to bring up a fantasy thing really quick. I had Jordan Love in the Eliminator League with Med, Brady, and I had to go. We have $100 free agent budget on Sleeper, and I put in 40 and got myself Dak Prescott today, which was freaking awesome. And I lost Joku, who might miss this week, and I picked up Goddard. The only problem is I already had Devonta Smith and AJ Brown. It was an 18-team eliminator. Every week, the lowest scoring team gets axed, and all their players go to free agency, and you have $100
to spend.
And Bill, I'm going to toss him out there. He got his guy. He spent $72 of his 100 for Amon-Ra St. Brown. The guy that got eliminated had a heck of a team. It was my buddy Ed. He had St. Brown. He had DJ Moore. He had Goddard. He had Stevenson, and Jalen Warren and Dak, and he just had a bad week. It happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's our fantasy talk. Okay, really quick. Last thing on the Packers. I have so much more I want to hit and preview the game, but I want to hit Med's team, and maybe the rest we can talk some Lions. That was a weird game too. What's your confidence level in Levis? Do you think he can win this game against Indy, who almost stole that game against Houston? What are you thinking? Let's go Brady on this one. I'll go last.
Oh, me on Malik Willis?
Yeah, what's your confidence level? Do you think he can actually pull off this one? Because this is the hardest of the next 3 games, probably.
Well, I mean, I would start by saying I don't think it's him that pulls this one off.
Yeah,
I think it's him that goes out there and
Manages the game.
avoids mistakes. When
Jacoby Brissett's it.
hands the ball off to Josh Jacobs, and when he develops a little chemistry with somebody, maybe it's a Romeo Dobbs. I'm not expecting a huge amount out of Christian Watson just by virtue of what he does on the field. You know, in this game, if I'm game planning for this game, I am using Christian Watson, but it's less to catch the ball and it's more to draw off safeties over the top and things so I can get some job done underneath, you know, to look for, you know, Tucker Kraft or somebody like that. But then when you get to the point, I think the key for him in this game is when you start to feel like you have to make a play, just keep in mind that sometimes it's better to live another down. Sometimes it's better to punt than to throw an interception. And almost all the time, as a matter of fact. So if he can limit the mistakes, and then our defense, which had, you know, the two defensive series right out of the gate, looked really, really good. Defense needs to keep the ball coming back. We may need an extra possession to win this game. Then I think we've got a chance.
I think that we need to, if our defense is as talented as everybody thinks it is, I want to see the game model that the Patriots did with Jacoby Brissett, where we keep it out of his hands. Not out of his hands. He doesn't turn the ball over, and he manages the game effectively. That's the game. That's the kind of strategy I want to see. Maybe he can sling it a little bit more than Brissett did for the Patriots against Cincinnati, but they won that game because he played turnover-free football. So I agree with you, Brady. I think that's the recipe. Med, what do you think?
Who y'all playing this week?
Colts in Green Bay.
Okay.
I know it's kind of tough with Richardson.
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't really been able to really look up anything up here. I've been constantly working. But the way I look at it is I think that, you know, first off, when people are dogging on y'all right now about the loss with the Eagles, look at their offense. The Eagles have probably one of the most stacked offenses this year. I personally think that Saquon Barkley will win your offensive player of the year. Because not just because of that, I was saying that even before the game. So it's just going to be one of those things that, you know, your defense did really well in my eyes. And, you know, you're going up against a young kid, AR5, which is Anthony Richardson. He's great with his legs, but he's horrible with his arm. He went 9 for 19 in that game against the Houston Texans. So you're going basically what you would do is you would load up that box and try to see if he could beat you with his arm, which I think he had a 46% completion rating when he was with Florida. So he's basically a less accurate Michael Vick. And if you can contain him, you can actually handle him. So I think that y'all have a lot better chance of beating Indy. Basically, it's going to be a defensive slugfest, especially between Malik Willis, who is very similar to Anthony Richardson, and it's going to be a turnover battle. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm not too excited about it because I got Josh Jacobs on my fantasy football team, and I'm looking at somebody.
The Colts gave up 159 yards to a single running back last week.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs is playing the right team. He's going to be a hammer this week.
That's my only concern, though. Can we stop the run? It was the same problem. Our defense, they had 3 turnovers. The problem is we won the turnover battle last week. We had 3 turnovers, and we still freaking lost because we couldn't tackle Saquon. And Jalen Hurts was a mixed bag, but it kind of looked like the reverse of that Packer-Cowboy game. There was guys wide open everywhere. McKinney looks great, but Alexander, other than the pick, he got torched a couple times. I'm hoping these things they can tweak and not let the receivers – it sucks. If they beat us passing the ball, I'm going to be really disappointed. I'm just putting it that way. Like, I'm expecting Richardson.
We were so bad in the backfield is because we were successful against Jalen Hurts on the ground. I mean,
we were
those resources. I mean, you end up singled up, and we had a bad day singled up.
We did.
That's going to happen. I told everybody as soon as Jeff Hafley came in, I told everybody you're going to see these big plays because these wide receivers are very, very good. That was the scariest. AJ Brown was the guy that scared me the most going into this game. I was afraid he was going to do that. And that's because, just like Med said, they've just got that many good guys. And that's one of the beauties of the Colts is, yes, they've got
Jonathan Taylor.
6'4". Yeah, Jonathan Taylor at the running back position, 6'4", 245-pound quarterback that can run. But they don't have just cadre of great players. There's my buddy Rick from high school.
Rick is the best. I can't wait to bring him back on. What's up, dude? We've been talking a bunch. He thinks that Devontae Adams.
What's up with that, Rick? Say hi to Med too.
He's like, what? Not me, the Bears fan. He thinks that Devontae is going to get traded to the Jets, and if the Jets are willing to pony up, I could see it. I just don't. I don't know. That's a whole nother story. The Jets. I expected them to not get beat by Jordan Mason, and they basically did. That was an interesting game. We can get into that one in a minute, but yeah. The concern for me, Brady and Med, is that we didn't look. I'm so tired of getting beat by running backs. I'd rather get torched through the air at this point. Can we just stop the run? Like, it's just, I don't know. I think Edgerrin Cooper could be the answer to this.
Got torched through the air too.
We did, though. So you're right.
You got your gift there. What was that? 68 yards or something like that?
Oh, it was bad. It was tough. It really was. Here's that guy. Sounds good. He's awesome. He's going to be coming back on soon. Okay, Brady. Let's hit the Bears. I'm going to be honest. I was at Chili's. They didn't throw the game up. I've read all about it. What the heck was that? What was that?
You're asking me. Okay.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, I saw most of that game, and it was to me, it was part and parcel. Every single game in week 1 was pretty much the same. You had the 49ers look good against the Jets. You had the Chiefs. I mean, even the Chiefs against the Ravens was not great. It's just this is part and parcel, I think, of what the product that we're going to get week 1 as the NFL adds season games and takes away preseason games to some extent.
Exactly.
But yeah, and I saw Caleb Williams make a nice passer. This is what he did in the preseason. He'd make a couple nice passes or two, but then you kind of play like a rookie. I mean, what else would you expect for a kid that gets thrown into the fire? And for crying out loud, I would take that win. We played ugly too. But I would take that win if I could get it. But yeah, it was, the defense, I mean, didn't they have were they the ones that had a punt or a kickoff that was fumbled and returned? Was that Med, the Bears?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was. And they only had 11 first downs in that game.
But
I've heard all about it.
The Packers started the game against the Eagles with 2 turnovers. So
True story. You're right. That's all you needed. Your defense from last year did carry. Sorry, Brady. Keep going.
No, that's okay. I think that what I saw, for my money right now, and I probably would have said this before the season, but this is just my impression of what I saw on the field is, Caleb's out there. It's a tough road to hoe for anybody. Like Patrick Mahomes did not have to do this. But it looked to me like the line. I'm a little concerned about the offensive line being able to help him hold up because they don't have the Saquon Barkley. They don't have the Josh Jacobs, and so I don't know. To me, I thought the line looked a little suspect, to be honest. And did you pick up Wright from down here in Tennessee? I think last year. Is Wright still your right tackle?
Yeah.
Did he stay at right tackle?
Yeah.
So they may be developing, but if you can't, we saw the Detroit Lions start to have success when they finally got their offensive line to be really, really good. So if you can't figure that out, I think it takes a while for Caleb, but I've had to be an apologist of Caleb Williams because that kid can throw the ball and the athleticism is there, but there's a whole lot of variables that still have to happen. And being a rookie, I think is the toughest one of all.
And didn't we have only 4 quarterbacks on Sunday throw over 200 yards? I mean, that's just a testament to if the NFL is going to do this thing where they're going to go, and I know they're pushing for it, where they're going to go to a 20-game regular season with 2 bye weeks, so it's 18 games and only 2 weeks of preseason. It's going to take 5, 6 weeks, 7 weeks before we get good play in Med. I think offensive lines have a lot to do with it. Brady just alluded to it.
Well, yeah, no, every team, whenever you find good success and everything, it's going to be in the trenches. Going to 2 most important things is protect the ball and get the ball. And if you have a dominant, I mean, when they talk about positions, usually quarterback, of course, is number 1. Then you're talking about left tackle to protect the guy. The very next one is the pass rush. And whenever you have a great pass rush, you're going to put so much pressure on that quarterback to where he will create turnovers. That's exactly what happened with Will Levis when he did, if you go back up a little bit and look at Sounds Gouda, he actually commented on it on the surrender cobra that we were talking about earlier. And I mean, yes, special teams and defense is going to be I've already been harping. I said the Bears defense was starting to come around last year.
Yeah, the sweat trade was huge. Transformed your D.
And, we got good cornerbacks. We got Jalen Johnson. A lot of people were really flacking that mode. He had a pick. He had the game ceiling pick. You have Stevenson on the other side. I mean, we got some hawks on the defense, but the biggest problem that we have is the offense. It's a brand new offense coordinator with Shane coming in from Seattle. And yeah, we don't have Saquon Barkley. We got the guy that Saquon Barkley replaced in Philadelphia. And, it's apples and oranges. I mean, our running back core, yeah, it can be good with Herbert and DeAndre Swift, but that is the type of running back that fits that type of offense. It's a pass. It is actually transitioning into a pass offense, and it's going to take time. The line does need help, though. I mean, they let go Cody Whitehair, who was probably the leader of that offensive line the last couple of years, even though they sucked the last couple of years as well. But, in the scheme of things, it's promising. It's going to take time. Rome wasn't built in a day. The mantra. The Chicago Bears, it's been a long time. So, I mean, we got a W. He's only the fourth quarterback because remember, Bills Mafia brought that up last week to be the number 1 overall pick and win their first game. Last one was David Carr with the Houston Texans.
And how many have done that? And how many have done that doing a double-digit comeback with no offensive touchdowns? I want to know that stat.
Well, this is probably number 1.
That is insane. That do that.
What was it? 17-0. Yeah,
that's crazy. There were so many comebacks. The Bills were down. I don't want to talk all NFL, but the Bills were down 17. No, they were down, I think 24-3 or something. No, it might have been 17. They were down 17-3. And then they didn't give up a touchdown. They gave up a kickoff return for a TD. And they just blew out Arizona. Like it was 28 to really 10. But like I said, 8 of those points were on a kickoff return. So their defense just clamped. They weren't the only team. Pittsburgh's defense just clamped Atlanta. I was shocked by that. They're on my panic meter. I've got a fun game for you guys. I didn't prep you for it. I put a YouTube video out on panic meter on the teams. What's up, Robert? How you doing? And Bill, Super Bowl shuffle. Bill has too much fun with Packer.
That's right. Go ahead and
I'm sad Jason's not here leaving us comments, Brady. He be having fun with Med.
When I see Super Bowl shuffle is the version on the league.
Oh, God, yeah. That's a great show.
And then I can tolerate.
I gotta watch that show. I've heard all about it. I really do.
You can't watch it with your kids around. I'll tell you that.
No, that's what I've heard. But you get this play. You get this subpar offensive play, but then I'm also giving the Packers a little bit of a pass, and it might just be biased because Med's defense did carry and looked awesome. Albeit against Will Levis.
I'm not giving my team a pass. I mean,
I'm giving my team a pass because they couldn't pass us.
I mean, you're the number 1 overall pick and you passed for 93 yards. You clearly struggled. Yeah, it's your first official regular season game, but it's just one of those deals where you're put in a position where you have to produce and you didn't. So you can go back and say all the right things and say I'm gonna have better games than this. I freaking hope so. Because exactly. I mean, Mitchell, you're already. I'm not saying you're treading into it, but you're already like at Mitchell Trubisky, Justin Fields territory right now. You had the defense bail you out, bro. And once I think he gets a couple more games in and gets a little more comfortable and matches up to the speed of the pro game, then I think we could be off and running, and then we will have a really badass division again.
Well,
my hope is that our defense
speed of the game, and it took him several games to get on the same page with his wide receivers. So it does take time.
It does take time, and we got to give these guys a pass. Jaden Daniels looked great running the ball, but was okay passing. It just takes time. My hope is that the Packers D actually turns a corner and gets back to above average to top 10 level, because that's what it's going to take to dethrone Detroit. They're no joke. I mean, they almost blew that Rams game, which was really weird. But that was surprising. So,
yep.
I'm going to go say goodnight to my kiddo if you just want to carry really quick. Okay. Talk whatever.
Sure.
Give us a topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is hilarious. It's daddy time. All right. Let's read him a bedtime story, shall we? No.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah. It's gonna end up with the Bears winning, though. I know, because we want him to have nightmares, and then I'm gonna have nightmares, and it's just gonna be terrible. No, yeah.
I mean, that'd be like anarchy in a way. I mean, I know I'm a Bears fan, but it's like one of those things where I've always kind of relished the it takes a little bit of time and everything. You see your team gradually build like y'all have. I mean, y'all had a little dip there for a little bit, and then Jordan Love, I was waiting for him to really suck last year, and then he really stuck it to us in that first game. And
and then he sucked for a while, and then he was not good. People were calling for Clifford at times on my feed during games, but Jordan Love had the advantage of sitting behind Rodgers for 3 years without the pressure, and Caleb Williams doesn't have that. But the other side of that to me is if it takes time. I mean, you won a game, a win's a win. When by the time the season's done, nobody's going to give two what's on a brick about how you won that game. But if he progresses the way you're talking about and he becomes your starter in year one, you don't have to pay him. We just dropped $200 million, and you guys are able to still then build around a young quarterback, which we still have a young quarterback, but we now have a very, very expensive one, not the most expensive one anymore. But
yeah, but I mean, you got one that evidently has the talent, and I mean, I know a lot of people that talk about, they give the Green Bay Packers criticism, which I don't really believe in, because they're basically saying that the reason why he got that money is because he had such a phenomenal second half of the season. And there maybe, but at the same time, I mean, you got to risk it for the biscuit. I mean, the dude put the work in, was able to actually get it to where y'all are. Y'all shocked everyone but a couple of us with the Dallas game. And hey, Janae.
Hey, Janae. We got to have you back on soon. Seriously. Thank you, Justin. We appreciate that. You were a blast. Seriously.
I think what people don't realize is when it comes to the quarterback position, and you can speak to this as a Bears fan who has not been. I mean, we've had 2 Hall of Famers in a row. When it comes to the quarterback position, you don't give a crap about the money. The money is there. You just have to move it around. Russ Ball knows how to figure these things out. What you want to know, nor do you give a crap about, okay, you love that we went to the playoffs. That's not the point anyway. So if you're going to sign the guy for all this money, that's not going to be your goal anyway. None of us sat down and watched Jordan when he threw his first ball in practice, have seen his development from then. None of us have sat there through the bad games that he had and saw how he treated it like a professional. And the organization behind these guys is looking to see if this kid answers the question, yes, he's the one. And Jordan Love's answered the question, yes, he's the one. He's done it since the time he got in. It has more to do. It has to do with more than just his last 8 games.
And it's the time that I think this is what I was hoping for Caleb. Brady, we talked about this. I don't know if I missed this. I'm sorry. My kiddo got home late and I want to say goodnight. She would dance tonight. So, so you guys read me a bedtime story. I did hear that on the way out.
Yeah.
Which was great. But I kind of wish the Bears had signed a vet that wouldn't have pushed Caleb for the job. May have been a holder for like 4 games, but really just would have been a veteran presence, because I don't know if you disagree with this, Brady, but I don't think there's any way Jordan Love would be what he is now. And he still is raw. I think he's got a lot of developing to go. We saw it week 1. It was a mixed bag. There was a great play. It was kind of like watching Josh Allen. There was an awesome play, and then kind of like, what was that? Which is what I expected. He's only played he hasn't even played 20 games. That was his 20th start. Well, 21st. He had one early on. But I kind of wish the Bears had given Caleb a vet to like learn from on the sidelines. I think it's really invaluable. It's almost priceless. I think it does so much for a quarterback. What do y'all think of that?
Go ahead, Brady.
Okay. I don't disagree at all. I mean, look at JJ McCarthy with the Vikings. He was moving up the depth chart there, and a lot of it was to do with he was being pushed by a veteran. And that now, obviously, sad that it worked out the way it did for them. And we're almost feeling about the same way the Vikings fans are here. We were this close to that, and I hate that for him. I really do. But you have that guy in. Yeah. Especially the value of being able to put him in and develop him season 1 is you get him for that many more years before you have to pay him.
Exactly. And we lost that with Rodgers too, but it really is, it's something that's the one thing we've done. We've done a lot of things well, but that's the one thing we've done well. The Bears, no defense. We used to back in the day. It's been a hot minute. And I'm hoping we can get back to it, because we had that brief, that Super Bowl run, and we did a couple other solid seasons in the late 2010s, but that hasn't been our bread and butter in a minute. And I think the Bears are trying to get back to that. impressed with what I've seen over the last 8-9 games. We're going to see if it continues to translate. I have a couple ideas I could pivot to, but do you guys want to preview week 2? And then I have something fun for y'all. You guys ready? Let's do it. Matt, let's do your team. Who do y'all play? Who do you guys play week 2? Bears week 2.
No, I need you to actually tell me that
You
because
go to Houston. What's the line? I'll check the line for you. I have not previewed the week 2 games. I'm going to be doing it tomorrow. I've got a show Friday night. I'll be doing, and I don't want to plug that too much, but me and Bill on Friday night, we're going to have a Colts guy on, Brady. I'm excited. And we're going to be talking Packers Colts and then hitting into all the games. I agree with Bill. They need to stop the run. That's a tough one. The line on that game, I'm trying to pull it up really quick. That's a rough one because, I mean, the Texans, they almost gave away week 1. That was a close one.
Yeah, I mean, it's 29-26, 29-27. I mean,
that's like as good as they are, they're still coming together. Stroud kind of got saved by Joe Mixon. He had one of his best days as a pro and really stabilized that Texans offense. That kind of goes against your guys' strength.
Yards.
Yeah, what did he have? How much did he have?
He had
159 yards.
Yeah, Joe Mixon, 30 carries, 159 yards. I hope that's Josh Jacobs' stat line this week.
It's only a 6-point spread. It's Sunday Night Football, bud. In Houston, Houston's a 6-point favorite. Sunday Night Football. Both teams 1-0. This is the big time right here. Houston's up and coming. Cowboy Rag, there he is. What's up, dude? Another one of my favorite people. That's a good game. That's a good one.
That's a good game. I wasn't able to watch much of the Houston Indianapolis game, but from what I know is that they have a lot more weapons than what. Of course, a lot of people have more weapons than what the Titans have. I mean, you look at what the one thing that really does worry me is that Joe Mixon is in the backfield, and the main reason why is because I saw Tony Pollard basically just pop one big run after another in the highlight films whenever you actually watch the Bears game. Now, the big thing for me is, you look at CJ Stroud and, of course, that revamped receiver core with Stephon Diggs being there, Nico Collins, and his number one target, Tank Dell. And then you also have Dalton Schultz. I mean, that's a pretty tough little lineup to try to contain. And really and truthfully, with what I saw so far with our offense, and against that defense, which also brought in, Packer Nightmare, Bear Nightmare, Danielle Hunter into the fold with them. I mean, that's pretty solid. I mean, Houston doesn't normally have a great pass defense, but with Anthony Richardson going 9 for 19, you really couldn't really see it, So I'm actually interested in that. And if Caleb can actually get enough time to actually throw the ball, I'm not saying that we're going to keep it up to him, but, I hate to say this, Peter, but I don't think we're going to win this one, buddy.
That's what Cowboy Rag thinks. And that's my hope for the Packers. Richardson's wildly inaccurate. I'm hoping we can take advantage and get a pick 6 or some turnovers that lead to some easy points. I don't know, though. The Bears D could hold Houston down and keep this close. We're going to find out how good that D is because Houston's got – that's next to Philly, what is that? One of the most loaded offenses in the league? For real. Like, just if CJ Stroud ascends to what everyone is anointing him to be, then Houston's going to have one of the better offenses in the league. I just think it's going to take longer than people expect for it to come together. Also, side note, Brady, Peter, who's amazing, sent you a friend request, and so did Bill.
That's fine. Peter Russell. All right. I'm going to check that out.
He's awesome. He honestly, if he wanted to come on right now, I'd bring him on. He's great. We've had him on a bunch. He's going to be, I'm really excited. He's going to be helping co-host a show, Med's not available Saturdays. He's going to be co-hosting a show with the UK Franchise Tag podcast in a few weeks. Really big. I'm excited. UK football show. He's great. We've had him on a bunch. But that's a good take, Med. I like it. Brady, what are your thoughts?
What was the question?
We're
about the game.
Just the Bears game.
Houston.
Bears Houston.
Well, I mean, I don't think that would be one that if I was a Bears fan, I'd be expecting to be winning. But I don't think if I was a Packers fan right now, I'd be expecting us to be winning that one necessarily either right now. I think that if you go into that game, for me, and obviously you're in the season, but for me, I would be looking at that as a huge opportunity for really great development of my young quarterback. Challenge the defense. Listen, you did it last time. Let's get some momentum going. We've got the chops to be able to hold these guys down.
Peter
Now
on.
prove it. And then see what, if you can get that running game going a little bit. Again, the thing that worries me most then is the pass protection, in that game, because you're not going to beat that. You're not expecting the Houston Texans to be held to under 30 points all the time, which means you're not going to get away with a defensive win with no offensive points.
Exactly. No, it's a good take. I like it. Peter, I'm going to bring him on. He might have a take for this. He's great. I think you're going to love him. He's awesome. He's one of my favorite people we've gotten to talk football with. So I'm going to bring him on. I think he's got a good Bears take. So we'll keep going with it. It is giving the Bears, Vegas is giving the Bears some cred, in my opinion, that they kept the line at 6. A lot of the week 1 games were not, the biggest spread was like 7 or 8 on one game, I believe. So 6 is giving the Bears some cred after, Tennessee is, I don't think they're a world beater. Like if we lose to Tennessee, even with Will Levis, I'm going to be kind of like, this isn't good. They're one of my, Brady, Tennessee was my they spent a bunch of money. They gave them the award. They spent a lot of money this offseason, and I still think they're going to suck. I don't believe in Will Levis.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
think they're still trying to find their way myself. Yeah.
They seem to be rebuilding, honestly.
Yeah. I like the coach. Okay. I kind of like his old school mentality, even though he comes from the Patriots. But yeah, this is one that, assuming Jordan Love was playing, which I did before, I had this as a win.
I like it. Let's have Peter talk the Bears and the Texans, and then let's preview the Packers. Then I've got something else fun for you guys, because I've got a lot of thoughts. This has been a blast, guys, by the way. And thank you to the over 500 people watching, which is a new record. I think that's Brady. Thank you. Peter, what you got, man? We're talking Bears Texans. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. As much as I hate to say this, I do actually agree with Med that I think Houston does win this one, just out of having the talent have played together longer. Overall, with especially with Stroud's reliance on Dell Collins and having that year of the experience already, I think could end up being the difference in this game. But 2 points with our defense specifically is, and I put the first one in the comments, where Pollard's a lot more skilled at running through contact than Mixon is. Mixon strikes me as a little bit more of a speed dependent back, and we have speed at every position on the field on defense. I've seen Gervon Dexter run down receivers before. So if you have a D tackle that can do that, then your ends and linebackers and such are going to be even that much faster. And I will say, in terms of both speed and just general coverage ability, especially having Brisker and Byard back at safety now, I think we have one of the few secondaries in the league that can really actually match up with all 3 of their starting receivers and still leave a TJ Edwards to deal with either Mixon or the tight end that they have.
Good take. I like it. Very good. That's I think the only way you guys are going to win this game, and unless Caleb comes to speed so much faster than what we saw week 1, where he won. How many yards did he end up having, guys? 90. What was it? 3 in the victory?
Something like that. Yeah.
94 yards. It was under 100. I know that.
Yeah.
Our total offense was 149 yards. So if you really look at it, Joe Mixon outproduced our offense. So, it is what it is. You look at Houston Texans, it's definitely going to be one of those, you want to say it's our defense against their offense, but their defense is really good too. And
I do fully agree with that as well. I think the one other difference is that people forget that the Titans had a top 5, at least in the AFC defense last year, and added arguably one of the top 4 cornerbacks in the league with L'Jarius Sneed. I don't think outside of Danielle Hunter, which I will say our tackles actually played pretty well in the game, is the interior of the line that's the bigger issue right now, specifically center. I don't think that Houston has the same depth of skill set in their across the rest of their defensive line to be able to take advantage of that the way Tennessee does, because they don't have like that Tavondre Sweat, etc. type player the same way as Tennessee does. So I think Caleb is going to have more time to throw and really start building that rapport with like a DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, especially.
That's going to be one of the biggest things is can your offense, because I think you're going to need a score. I'm just being honest. Your defense can play great. Even against Houston, I think you got to score more than 21-ish to have a chance to win. I don't think you're going to hold Houston under 20. I just don't see it. They can play lights out. That's going to be tough in Houston.
It's going to be a tough game. And real quick with Mafia members, I guess Caleb is number 4 now with that victory, huh? Yeah, he had nothing to do. He is now a number 1 overall pick. You picked wrong, buddy.
You did. Let's leave another comment, bud. Let's see it. Okay. If you guys are cool with it, did anybody else have any other Bears thoughts? I wanted to hit the Packers-Colts game.
Let's go Packers-Colts.
All right. Bill's asking the question, who wins? And really quick, just on the Bears thing, I'm gonna shock you guys. I might pick the Bears. I'm really, really close on this. I have a weird feeling. I'd probably still lean Texans in Houston, but we do against the spread now, and I think it's going to be less than 6. I really do.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a 3-point game. I really do. I'm not just saying it.
Oh, real quick. Ben, Mafia members, congratulations on y'all's victory, dude. I was actually worried for y'all for a second. I was like sitting there. I was like, ooh. Elijah Brown, congratulations. You're still here.
I was really worried about the Bills. Mafia members, Brady is a Bills guy we just had on. Really, really cool. We went on his show together, and
I worked with twins that were Bills fans. So
what was that?
A couple guys I worked with, they were cool.
Yeah, they're really fun. They're fun. Everybody's cool. Even Bears fans are cool. See, like it works. Yeah. Right?
Man, we're all about the brats and beer, bro.
We'll see what happens when we go head to head.
He was not comfortable the first half.
Yeah, you might want to remember too, Isaac, you don't have the numbers anymore now.
I hate that we're in this dweller of the NFC North. This is terrible, Brady. I'm so upset. Okay. All right. I've got some stats I'm going to throw out. I should have thrown them on the Bears game. I do this on Friday nights, but people are not very confident on Green Bay in Green Bay. Indy is a 3-point favorite. Brady, you may know more on these injuries, so we're going to start with Brady, and then I'll kick it to you guys. I'll go last. I'm just going to throw out some stuff really quick. Kenny Clark is questionable with a toe. I had an insanely busy work day. I was subbing, so I didn't get to look. Valentine and Jacobs are questionable. Brady, did any of them limited practice or anything?
Valentine limited. Clark limited. Edger and Cooper was a full participant. Josh Jacobs was limited, and Marshawn Lloyd was limited. So that's tough. I'm only getting unspecified on everything. So
that's tough. I'm really hoping to see a little more Cooper. I was hoping he'd push Wilson and get that starting job.
Yeah.
Like I want to see him. I think he'd give us that physical component in our run D that we need. We need. I like Quay Walker. Our defense. I don't think is going to excel until we've got a strong inside linebacker. We need it.
And Isaiah McDuffie had a rough day, I think.
Yeah, he did. All right, Brady, what are your thoughts on this one, man? We've talked a little bit about in the beginning. What do you think happens? Do you think we can steal this one? Yeah,
I think we can. It's going to be a heavy dose of Josh Jacobs. I'm sure everybody would figure that. I think if I'm looking at what I saw of the Colts defense, I mean, Joe Mixon, 30 carries, 159 yards. He averaged 5.3 yards a carry. Jacobs averaged 5.7. So he only had 84 yards, but he did that in like 13 carries. So I hope that we don't have to feed the ball to Josh Jacobs 30 times. But if you do, you got to do it right now.
Yeah.
And then, we've got a lot of young weapons at the pass catching group. So including the tight ends, you've got to mix some things up. You've got to try and keep the defense on their heels a little bit. Got to be expecting heavy boxes. And Matt LaFleur, I think, has probably the best. I said this morning on my show, if Matt LaFleur pulls this stretch off, whatever it may be, and whatever wins and losses, but we come out on top because we held together during this time when Jordan Love was gone. I think he needs to be in the conversation for Coach of the Year because
I agree.
Getting Willis out there and coaching him up and calling the kinds of plays that get him into comfortable situations, get him settled down early, but then also pounding the ball with Josh Jacobs and keeping the defense on its heels is going to be critical. And we talked earlier, limiting the mistakes. Of course, you can't just don't don't try to play outside yourself. And then we've got a defense that has a lot to prove right now to Packer Nation in particular, because we had another bunch of missed tackles. We gave up another 100+ yard rusher, and Saquon had 3 touchdowns by the time all said and done.
Yeah,
so this is a very different defensive strategy for the Green Bay Packers. This is going to be, in my mind, a very different defensive game. The Eagles' 2 tackles are studs, and Rashawn Gary still ended up with a sack in that game. And a tip ball as well, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
So do they need to take a step forward? Of course. Do they need to clean the crap up? Yes, please. But this is going to be a different offense that they have to deal with. There aren't nearly as many weapons that you have to deal with. So it's not comfortable. It's not going to be easy, but I definitely think it's doable. I
think so too, just because even though I like Richardson, he can be wildly erratic throwing the ball. I'm just going to go really fast, then I'm going to go Peter, Med, whichever order. I think Jaden Reed needs to be involved in the rush game. I'm going to do like a 20-second take. I want to see some more Wilson. He had 4 carries for 46 yards week 1, and I think that's how we're going to beat them, is running the ball, limiting the possessions and putting some pressure on Richardson to make the most of his opportunities and force him to be a thrower. I want to force them to throw the ball. Sounds Gouda says Cooper looked much better than Quay, the 11 snaps he was in. RPO season, I kind of agree. Med, Peter, which one of you guys want to go first on this one? I'll give my full take last.
Go for it, Med.
All right. So basically, the way that I feel is that the reason why they ain't really practicing Josh Jacobs right now is they're resting him up for the game. You don't want him to take any more unnecessary hits that he's not getting paid to really take. Yeah. You look at what Joe Mixon was able to do it. I'm pretty sure that Josh Jacobs is going to do it because, Houston has a great offensive line, but Packers ain't far behind. And, to me, in my personal opinion, I think Josh Jacobs is a little bit better than Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, the last few years in Cincy, looked a little older, like he's taken a beating. And that's why Cincinnati was more than happy to let him go for, what was it, like a 4th-round pick? So, they didn't really get a whole lot for him. So they thought that he's finished. He has a little bit more gas in the tank, and it'll be fine. What it's going to come down to is how good is both of the defenses, really and truthfully. You look at last year, the catalyst that a lot of people felt was the reason why the Colts were in the position that they were in when they almost made the playoffs was because of Gardner Minshew regenerating that offense. Kind of true, but really truthfully, that defense was top notch. It was really good. And to actually see what happened this past week and the fact that the Colts almost pulled that out, it's kind of crazy. But it's going to be whoever's defense actually doesn't break. And you got 2 quarterbacks that really, like Gouda says, they're both RPO quarterbacks. You got 2 good running backs, got 2 decent offensive lines, and it's going to be who does not turn the ball over. And it's kind of a push for me with Anthony Richardson and Malik Willis in that regard, because I'm not a big fan of either one. That's just being honest. And
it's fair.
It's going to be one of those deals where, I can see either team winning this, but I think really and truthfully, y'all just have a little bit more talent. So I'm going to sway toward y'all.
Man, I hope you're right. Let's do. If y'all are cool with it, really quick, let's do. We should have done this for the Bears. We can go back and do it. Let's give some scores because Bill says we need help. Hey, Bill, you need help. I got 10 right. I'm just kidding. I was 10-6. He was 7-9. He's against the spread, man. No, we should have done even better. We missed some. Med, what's your score prediction on that one? Who do you think? How much do you think we win by?
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think y'all win by 3, probably like 20-17, but probably not even that high. But, yeah, I'll go with 20-17, 21-17.
Pretty good. The over-under is 41, so that's pretty close, man. Good job. I like it. Brady, what's your score thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think I think we're going to do a little better than that. I think we're going to do a little better against the Colts at home opener than most people expect right now. I think Jacobs is going to get a couple on the ground. I'd love to see him to get one through the air, but 14
Right.
there. One of these guys, 100% agree. I think Willis needs some kind of go-to guy, whether that be like a Romeo Doubs, but I love the idea of Jaden Reed. Then he can be involved in the run game as well,
Yes.
stress the defense east to west as well as north to south. And I think we get in 3 times, and I think our kicker makes one. So I'll say it's more like 17 or 21-24. 21-24.
I like it. I'll go last. Peter, what are your thoughts?
I'm thinking something around like the 23-20. You guys, I think that could very easily slip either way. It just depends. It's going to come down to turnovers and who has the last possession, I think, because I think that's where the game-winning field goal happens one way or the other. The one thing I will say in terms of, Houston beat them, so this is how we could. I will say, and this isn't a shot at the Packers at all as much as Houston having like the 3, at least to some level, proven wide receivers, especially with Diggs now, it's a lot easier to do that against a 6-person box than when you can try and make a unproven receiver beat you too. So there is that to kind of consider at least a little bit. I think Jaden Reed is getting there, but I think like him and Dobbs especially are probably like a year behind where honestly Tank Dell and Nico Collins already are. So that's one thing just to kind of keep in mind, I think. But I do think you guys win this like the 23-20 range.
Nice take. All right. Here's my thoughts. I think we win this game, and I'm going to pick them on Friday, and Bill's going to hate me for it. I think Jaden Reed is going to be a key. I really like what Brady said. I think Wilson's going to be important, and I want to see Jaden Reed through the ground. But like Brady said earlier, let's play action and hit him early. Oh, Mafia, you're just bitter, man. Your Buffalo Bills better win on Sunday, bud. I don't care who you guys are playing. You better play a better first half than you did against Arizona. That was pitiful, scaring the crap out of me. I picked you in my pick'em, and you guys almost let me down. That was terrible first half. That's one of the best second halves of the week. They were like the anti-Lions. They just were like, let's just turn it on. The Lions almost just gave that game to the Rams away. I think we can win this game. I think like I said earlier, we need to force Richardson. Him and Taylor running is how they're going to win this. We can't let that happen. Make him be a passer. I would rather lose that way, like Brady said, though. But we did on Friday.
But that was like AJ Brown, So yeah, so you're right. This is very different. Yeah.
They do have weapons. Pierce was great, but let's let those guys beat us, and let's stop Taylor and Richardson on the ground and force Richardson and his erratic self, even though I have him in fantasy because he's a fantasy stud. Let's force him to be a thrower and beat our secondary. Let's lock our best two. I mean, I hate this man defense crap all the time. I'm not a fan of it, but I think we're going to find out how good our defense is, and this is going to be a huge test. And we put a lot on our head coach, but LaFleur, if he can get through this is the hard one. Then we play the Titans, who I think even though their defense is good, their offense, I don't know. And they've got a new head coach. That team's going to be interesting this year. If we can get through this one, I think we can win the next 2, possibly. This is a big game. I don't want to go on 2. We need to win this one. It's in Green Bay. Let's win it. So I'm picking the Packers. I'm going to go 24-20. 24-21, actually. 24-21. 3-point win.
Okay,
I'm hoping I'm not a homer for it.
High five or something now.
High five, man. Okay, we're at an hour. Brady, how long? I don't want to go too late. You guys got about another 15 minutes?
No, cool.
Okay.
I actually have to hop off because my parents are finishing laundry for a trip on Friday. So
you're good. We'll do another show soon, man. I'm bringing you on at the end of the month too. So I'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
Yep.
Go down.
Nick says the man defense is key. Indy's O-line is not even close to the Eagles level. The Packers defense can easily keep the game winnable. Bill says, stop the run. And Mafia says, but we didn't lose. Okay. I'm not running through the rest of the picks. I've got a fun game for you guys. I did a panic meter YouTube video right before this.
Okay.
I had the Packers at I'll tell you all my 5. I didn't include the Giants and the Panthers because they're not good enough. And I know that's mean, but I didn't believe in them in the first place. The Giants, I was hoping their defense would look a little better than it did. That pass rush could be elite. But I was out on Daniel Jones last year, and the Panthers, they probably should panic, but that was pitiful.
No, they should.
But I wasn't much of a believer in them anyways. I didn't think they were going to make a lot of strides this year. We'll see. It's early, but Bryce Young, that doesn't look great. I have the Packers at 3, though, because if they do lose the next 2 or 3, and Jordan Love comes back to a 1-3 or 1-4 or 1-5 team, I don't know if they're going to be able to come back and make the postseason. I'll tell you the guys the rest of my teams in a minute. Brady, what are your thoughts? Do you think we should be panicking that much or dial it down?
I don't think we need to be panicking that much. I mean,
Too much?
I'm trying to think off the top of my. What was our record into the playoffs last year? Was it
9-7?
We were 9-8. We were 9-8. Won the playoff game.
Yeah. So I can't do the maths, but I've got to again. I do think, like you said, this is a challenge, and these are games. With Jordan Love this time last year, we came out, like you said, against the Bears. We were like lit it up. We thought everything was just like, rainbows and butterflies. And then we found out what the NFL can do to you if you can't stop the run.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Well, I feel it could go either way. I guess I've got a little more peaceful, easy feeling. Maybe it's just because I know Jordan Love is going to be back sooner than I in any way, shape, or form expected him to.
This is, I'm hoping you're right. I really am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying not to panic, but I'm listening to like 3 different football shows this morning, and they're talking about the Packers, and I'm like,
well, let's
just pull their horses and see when Love can come back.
Yeah. No. I mean, personally, I agree with Brady. I don't even listen to like ESPN or anything like that because typically what they're doing is they're saying things just to get you to actually listen to them. And if you actually talk to a person that, I'm not saying they don't know sports because evidently they do. They made an empire from it. If you talk to somebody that actually sits there and watches the game and like has an idea of what's going on with that team, like Brady does with the Packers, I mean, it's just one of those deals where you kind of just say, okay, well, he's going to be gone for 3, maybe 4 games. He'll be back. Yeah, they'll just ease him back in there, hopefully. And, basically he's going to be turning around and handing the ball off. That's what Malik Willis will be doing. And then every now and then sell it, just hit him with a play action pass down the sideline. You got the speed. You got Christian Watkins on one side. You got Jaden Reed over the middle or on the outside. I mean, I think y'all are going to be fine. I wouldn't hit the panic button if this was, say, week 3 and y'all are like 2-1 right now, and he was going to miss 4 games, then maybe a little bit more. But this is the beginning of the season, and y'all played a very talented Eagles team, and in some ways took them to the last play.
I guess I'm just concerned because our D didn't look great, and I don't know how many weeks Love's actually going to miss. But you're right; it's not an ACL. He will come back, hopefully not too early. And I do. I watch every Packer game I can, which is like,
Okay, let me put it this way, bro.
I'm just worried that he's going to come back to a 1-4 team, and it's going to be too late to save for the postseason. But I think this is a very winnable stretch, and it happened at the best time.
I see y'all going at least 2-2 or 3-1. Let me put it this way. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's just count the weapons. They got Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. They got Saquon Barkley. They got Jalen Hurts. They got Greenwell coming off the bench. And if you want to go ahead and drop him in there too, Johan Dotson. And probably the best blocking offensive line in the game. And you almost
Goddard, who I got in our eliminator.
And you almost beat them.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Our offense, Jaden Reed almost saved that day for us. That was his coming out party that we saw more and more flashes of last year, Brady, and I was like, This guy could be our number 1 weapon. I really thought Watson might get hurt and it'd be the Wicks and Reed show, and it still could be. But Jaden Reed might be our number 1 target that we've been hoping would develop. So good take, man. You're right. I'll calm down. You calmed me down a little bit, actually. You're like
Bears fan.
Calm down.
The big bad bear daddy has you, man.
Thank you, buddy. Okay. The other teams on my panic list, I want to get what your guys' thoughts are. Okay. My number 5 team was the New York Jets because with that defense, I don't believe they should have gotten shellacked by a Jordan Mason.
That's bad.
What are y'all thoughts on that? On the Jets?
Hey.
Want
They're
me to
playing
go
the
first?
49ers, but that D did not look.
You go first, Brady.
Yeah, I mean, if I was a Jets fan, I'd be panicking. I saw the first series and I watched it and I was like, man, this is the old Aaron Rodgers. This might be just about as interesting as I thought it might be. And then, but it kind of goes to Med's same argument about us with the Eagles. That was, a much different team. But this is a team that brought in Aaron Rodgers. And the reason they did that was to be able to beat teams like that. So
He's the piece.
I would just be when and they showed a picture of Rodgers and he's just got this deer in the headlights 1,000-yard stare on, and the caption was that face that every quarterback gets when he gets traded to the New York Jets or something like that. And I was like,
You're good to die.
Your career is just gone.
I don't think over the long haul they still are going to be able to protect him that way, and he cannot move. Like, he is not mobile. He was plenty mobile when he needed to be at times, but he is not anymore. So I hope it doesn't end too poorly. But
that's what was crazy about Brady is even at 45 he didn't move much, but he was
just
he was able to get rid of the ball so quick it didn't even matter. And his thought process and his decision making never really fell off. I think that's another thing that falls off for quarterbacks. The game just gets too fast for them. They can't move anymore. And Joe Flacco was able to overcome it a lot last year. It's a stationary, he couldn't move at all target. And it really came to light in the postseason, but they were able to protect him. It only works with a stationary dude who can't move at all if you can protect him and give him time. And the problem I had with the Jets going in was Mike Williams is always hurt, and Tyron Smith recently has always been hurt. And that's your left tackle and your second receiver, and that's not a recipe for success. So honestly, I'm not a big Robert Saleh guy. I think there's a good chance he gets fired first. Med asked this question. I think there's a solid chance he gets canned first out of all the head coaches.
I wouldn't.
He has a good chance right now.
It's pretty sad. All right, my number 4 team was the Falcons.
Jets real quick?
Huh?
Want me to do the Jets real quick?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
You're good.
I flipped it. My bad.
Oh, right. He's like,
I thought you went. I'm so sorry, dude. I thought you went. No,
then me, Med, and then when we go to the fourth one, it'll be Brady again and me again. You could come in too.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry. My bad.
The one thing I could say about the Jets, and this is where I would actually panic, and I do agree with this. If anything, I have an idea of another team that is on your list because I'm going to go ahead and put Kirk Cousins in that talk too. Is that when you got an aging quarterback with an Achilles injury coming off that season, it takes time for that to happen. That's going to be a mental aspect for him. And when they sit there and they're thinking about the fact that they just ripped up their ankle last year, I mean, it's going to struggle. He is an older quarterback. He's not the same Aaron Rodgers that, my Bears could break the damn collarbone, and he comes out and still throws a Hail Mary for a touchdown pass to beat us in the last game of the season. I mean, he's not that guy anymore. He's no longer the guy. He is a guy. And, it's unfortunately Father Time. You've heard the mantra. He's undefeated. And, Tom Brady with all of his avocado ice cream in the world, I mean, he was the only one that we've actually seen that has actually done really well past 40. I mean, he still had a good season when he was with the Bucs. But, yeah, no, I agree with you. Jets fans should be panicking, and, wherever you had the Falcons, they should be panicking too.
I suck, so you're going first on this take. I'm just going to agree with you. I'm worried about the Jets. Falcons is my next team, Med. Good call. The number 4. The Packers are 3. Med, I'm not going to suck again. I got excited. I'm really sorry. We hit 1,000 viewers live, and I was getting ecstatic. We've never had over 300. So I'm sorry. I was losing my mind a little bit. That's really cool. Congrats. Anyways, number 4 is the Falcons. And you nailed it. The floor is yours, sir. Falcons. What you got?
Me again?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, you look at that defense. I mean, the defense played great, but you lost Justin Fields and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, you look at this offense, and basically they are what you would consider a 3 runs, cloud of dust, and they're punting the ball. Yeah. You lost to a kicker that, Broswell, congratulations, career day.
Oh, wow, I know. We're ahead of him in fantasy.
6 field goals, and I think 4 of those 6 were over 50 yards, at least 3 of them. And the Steelers defense is really good, but Kirk Cousins was brought in to lead the Falcons to that next level, and they did not look any of the part. Like he made mistakes. He threw some costly turnovers. Bijan Robinson did pretty well, but for the most part, he was contained. Drake London wasn't going to explode like a lot of people felt that he should have. It was not a good look.
No, it wasn't. It's scary because you got all these new toys, and I was questioning if it would work in the first place. I did pick them for the division, but it's because it was more about my Bucks disbelief, and I might need to get off that. But it's just one game. I'm with you, dude. That's why I had him on the panic meter. We're going to find out about Kirk Cousins because then it's going to be the panic show, and he is older than a typical rookie, but is he ready to go get in there and help them win an NFC South crown? I don't know. The hard thing is they took a number. Somebody made a good point on this. They took the 8th pick overall, and there were impact players that could have been there that could contribute right now and help you win games. Like the Rams have Dallas Turner. There's so many defensive guys out there or offensive players, and they took a quarterback that's not playing.
And the thing is that's why they got Matthew Judon right before the season started. They realized they probably screwed up a little bit, and they got him for pennies on the dollar. But you're not getting paid $180 million over the next 4 years to lose the first game that you play in Atlanta.
No. I questioned how much they believed in him, and they might have seen the injury up close after they signed him, but you would think they did before. So that Penix deal was really interesting, taking him number 8. It was like hedging your bets right after you. That was such a weird situation. Brady, what do you think of the Falcons, man? Should the Falcons fans be panicking or give it a little bit more time?
So I will make this brief. Cousins' contract still 100% guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
It's either all of it or like 160, I think, right?
He gets all the money. He's old. He's coming off an Achilles. He doesn't have Justin Jefferson. The Saints just dropped almost a 50 burger. It's panic. I would be panicking.
Mm-hmm.
You just draft a quarterback at number 8, and you're thinking of all the guys that could be out there helping you win. So I would be panicking.
It was 100 guaranteed, 4 years, 180. He still gets 100 guaranteed.
Yeah. So they didn't make the Minnesota Vikings mistake, but they.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, you want to guess who my top 2 teams panicking should be? They're in the same division, actually.
I'm thinking the Browns would probably be one of them.
They're number 2. Who do you think's number 1?
Did we skip 3?
Oh, 3 is the Packers.
Oh, 3 is the Packers. Okay, so if they're in the same division, they'll probably be. Would you say the Ravens or the? I'm thinking you're going to go with the Steelers.
Bengals.
So, Bengals, yeah.
I don't believe in Burrow.
Yeah, the Bengals are. Yeah,
I'm legit concerned. There's something. This is a thing that's not going to heal with Burrow, and they've played around with their receivers way too much. I'll give you guys my quick take on both teams. I'll make it like less than a minute. My concern with the Bengals is the Burrow injury, the wrist, and they've messed with Chase so much they haven't paid him. And Higgins, I wonder if he just sat out because he wanted to get paid. So you got a double receiver problem. They don't have Mixon. They're a really top-heavy team. The defense isn't quite what it was. I don't know if this is like they did start slow last year, and then they started coming together. But I question if Burrow has it anymore physically. We're going to find out. I don't know. He looked afraid to push the ball down the field from what I got to see of that game. And then the Browns, it's similar problem. Deshaun Watson, I don't know if the guy from Houston, I don't think he exists anymore. I know they're 5-1 with them last year, but to get beat like that at Dallas at home, where their defense was their brother last year, that would have me panicking if I'm Browns fans. And Nick Chubb, you don't know when he's coming back. So Browns 2, Bengals 1. Brady, what do you think?
All right. I'll just say, like, Bengals, I didn't see a whole lot of that game, but it did not look good. I wouldn't quite be pushing the panic button yet. I agree, and I think the chemistry in the locker room and the culture is super important, and that can either fall apart really, really fast, or if they just get it back together and they don't panic and they start winning a few games. I mean, they've still got the Steelers a couple of times, but they also have the Ravens a couple of times. So, I mean, I certainly wouldn't be like super bullish, but I might not be panicking just yet because I do. And although, the injury does concern me too. I saw that. I don't know anything specifically about it though, so I'm kind of not one way or the other on that. But I would be concerned. But there is a lot of season left to play, and there is an extended playoffs. The expanded playoffs. And I do believe in Joe Burrow. I did when he came out. I thought he was legit. What they're going to need to do is kind of get their chemistry back. Once they do that, if everybody just is a professional until they win some games, then winning covers a multitude of sins. And I think they might get back on track like they did before. But so I'm a little on the fence, but I'm going to say I'm not pushing the panicking button there. The Browns, I'm pushing the panicking button. Yeah. I am pushing the panic, and I'm jumping on the panic button. Holy smokes. And he's still got 2 years on that contract. He's still got billions of dollars to pay him.
Yeah.
And I agree. I don't know that he has it anymore.
I don't know if either quarterback does. What do you do if they don't? Are you going to start like the Bengals? Browning was solid from last year, but they're not going anywhere with Browning. And the Browns, I mean, the problem is that defense was supposed to be their strength. They were probably the best home defense last year.
Yeah,
and not saying Dallas took it to them, but it wasn't a game.
Yeah, and all Dallas did was run away from Garrett. I mean, that was pretty much all it took.
Yeah, they were like, okay, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, we're playing this game.
Ran right over them. Yep. I mean, it's smart. Honestly, I would do the same thing.
That's what you do.
So,
Med, what do you think?
Is Bengals 2 or are they 1?
Bengals were actually number 1 for me because I really don't know if Burrow's going to ever be healthy. I'm actually getting to that point. He doesn't look right. And Jamar Chase did play. That's the problem, Joe. Chase played begrudgingly. Higgins was the one who sat it out. So they didn't have all their weapons. So you can see that. But I don't know, man.
So I'll just go in order. So Browns is the first one I'll talk about. You look at the team and the fact that it's built up. I've been hitting the panic button with the Browns the last 2 seasons. I mean, last year you had limp arm Joe Flacco come in and basically save the franchise. And, you're talking about a stationary quarterback. Well, Deshaun Watson, I don't know if it was because he misses his masseuses back in Houston, but, maybe they were giving him something magical from the massage table. I don't know. Maybe he's sitting there holding hands with Robert Kraft. I don't know. But whatever happened, he's not the same player that we saw. I mean, you look at the stats, he's only thrown 14 touchdowns in limited time that he's played in Cleveland. You look at the weapons that they try to put around him. Unfortunately, Nick Chubb got injured last season, week 2, with the horrific injury, but you still have Amari Cooper, who is a decent receiver. You have Jerry Jeudy, who's supposedly a decent receiver. You got Njoku. I mean, it's not like it's just a mess.
Joku. Yeah, I like Joku, but
I mean, it's just a mess with Cleveland. I mean, if there is, it was like one time I was talking to him when I first met my mother-in-law, or not my mother-in-law, my stepfather-in-law, and we're sitting there talking. He was like, "So, what kind of fan are you? Who are you a fan of?" Because he knew I liked football. I said, "Well, I'm a Bears fan," and we started talking. I was like, "Yeah, it's been a rough 3 decades, but at least I'm not a Browns fan." And I said, "Who are you a fan of?" And he was like, "The Browns." So that was our first meeting. So, but I mean, Deshaun, it looks bad. You wonder, you saw what he could do in Clemson, you saw what he could do in Houston, and then now you can't see it. And it's just so bad how he digressed so quickly. I mean, injuries, you could call it for that for last year, but I mean, I don't know what's going on. And, you got the coach, supposedly had the defense, and you got a good offensive line. I don't know what's going on. So, and as far as like Cincinnati, I think you actually panic with them too, because my brother actually broke his wrist in about the same area that Joe Burrow broke his, and they found out later that bone was dead. Like he had to go in and they had to cut it out and everything and redo it and everything. And unfortunately, that's just the name of the game. You got rid of Joe Mixon, who was actually a still solid contributor for that team. Like Peter Russell was saying in the comments that, you had all the drama this past offseason where T. Higgins wanted to leave, Hendricks wanted to leave. I mean, those are 2 big leaders on your team that want to bolt. And, that just speaks a lot about the culture that's in the background. You got Jamar Chase more worried about his contract than actually getting on the field to play.
Higgins too.
Shit, all of them.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're trying to replace Joe Mixon. I like Zach Moss, don't get me wrong. And I know a lot of people are high on Chad Brown, or Chase Brown, but your defense wasn't really all that great last year. Your offense is supposed to be the bee's knees, and it hasn't been for the last 2 seasons. Jake Browning did really good towards the end of the season last year, but it just doesn't really. Is your offensive coordinator going to still be there next year? Right now it doesn't look like he will be. So we'll see what happens.
I don't think all their weapons are going to be there either. All right, Brady. Hey, before you head out, that was one of my favorite shows with you because we kind of went off football. So I've got Med's been starting to do this on Blitz. We meant to do it earlier. Med, just because you said it off there, I think it would be fun. Guys on Blitz, you're going to notice occasionally we're going to toss in some non-football, and we'll close with football thoughts in a minute. But Med, can you tell everybody about the lovely food you've had, and then I'm going to let you pitch whatever food idea you had. You've had some fun ones on all of our shows recently. So can you tell everybody about your lovely food you've been having up in Minnesota?
So work has brought me 7 miles away from the Canadian border. That's why I'm not in my usual studio. I'm in a hotel room.
There's no bears in the background.
No bear stuff, no nothing, no microphone in my face. But today, ladies and gentlemen, and if y'all want to talk about this, Brady, this would be my question for you. What is the worst thing that you ever had to eat? Like food that you were kind of looking forward to and, just sucked. And the reason why Isaac brought this up, and I talked a little bit to them about it, is I had, it said Boom Boom Shrimp. I'm from South Carolina on the coast. And so I'm used to like shrimp fresh out of the ocean and, amazing. And so come to the plate, puts it down in front of me. It is literally C-Pack shrimp from Walmart on a bed of Lay's potato chips with a drizzle of chipotle dressing. That's it. That was my meal 2 nights ago. And dude, I've had stale Rice Krispie treats with caramel and everything. What the hell are y'all eating up here, bro? Exactly, Peter. Oof. It's been. Yeah. I'm a 280-pound dude. I'm pretty sure that I'll shrink down 40 pounds by the end of the winter on what I've been having to eat the last couple of days. Now, I did have some good pizza today, but that's about it.
Pizza's probably pretty good up there. It's the opposite of hibernating. You lose weight and you're like, oh crap, I'm not going to stay warm.
What you got, Brady? What's the worst thing you ever ate? And people, we will comment on this too.
Yeah, throw some comments. Worst food you've ever had to eat.
Yeah. Give me some ideas. I'm actually struggling. My dad was quite a good cook. It would have to have been on a trip like this or something.
Okay, what is the most ghettoist thing you have ever seen, like C-Pack shrimp on a bed of Lay's potato chips?
I know where I had this. I'm going to try and think of what it is. I won't necessarily remember the meal a whole lot, but there's little hole-in-the-wall places around here. I'm in Northeast Tennessee. Like, you can pick up a rock and hit North Carolina.
What part?
And Johnson City, right between just in where?
Gray.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gray, Tennessee?
Gray, Tennessee.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you. We're neighbors practically at one point.
Practically neighbors. I drive by your house. I'm sure. I didn't even wave, did I? Yeah.
I was going to say Boone Lake. We actually lived right on Rockingham Road.
Wow. So, okay. Yep. I used to drive through there. My girlfriend lived it back behind there. So yeah,
it's a good place.
Oh, very cool. Oh, well, we're gonna have to get together then, man.
Hell yeah.
Packers.
You guys need to. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there was this little place. I'm trying to think of what the name of it is. It was up in Mountain City or Mountain Town or whatever it was, and my buddy recommended it because you could get a whole lot of food for nothing. But it was, the meal wasn't what I remember, but it was being from Wisconsin that I walked over and I looked at you talked about the desserts up there. these guys had an ice cream thing. So they have all the little ice creams in their little containers, and they had not been used for so long that they were all just coated with frost. And I just went,
Oh, wow.
I don't know what's under there, but I don't want any of it. So yeah, that was pretty rough. But the food, though, I don't remember as being that bad. It was a lot of food. These hole in the wall places, sometimes you can get a good little barbecue and you get like 3 of them for $5 or something. But the ice cream was not up to snuff. It just was not up to snuff.
Interesting.
We have to exchange phone numbers because there's a bakery that we went to that is in Johnson City, not far from the Honey Tupelo that you have up there. And the bakery, dude, if you're into pastries and everything, is fine.
Yeah, is it on Walnut Street?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's not
fun.
Honey Tupelo anymore. It's now a different restaurant. But yeah, they're redoing that whole strip. The businesses are struggling.
Good,
so it's open. But yeah, I know this. I know exactly. I'm pretty sure I know which one you're talking about.
I think something lady. I can't remember.
Okay. Yeah, there's good stuff around here. That's for sure. Good
I'm
barbecue.
jealous. I've always wanted to go to that part of the country, East Tennessee. I'm in Texas, and the food's divine here. But I got one. This is fun. So my pizza in Up and Ishmael, in where I grew up in Upper Peninsula, Michigan, is the best. And I got 2. My ex-wife had me at a ghost pepper in a salsa festival, and I couldn't taste for like 3 hours after. So that sucked, but it wasn't the worst. I just couldn't taste anything. But the worst was this pizza joint that I used to go to in Phoenix. I just went back. I lived there for almost 20 years, so it was home for a long time. And there's this place in Old Town Glendale that I used to go to, and it was really good. And I went for the first time a couple of years ago, like for the first time in like 5-6 years. And the dough. Here's my problem. I like thin crust pizza, but crust is big for me. The dough wasn't cooked all the way. So it was super doughy, and the top was the ingredients weren't fully done either. It was unedible, and it used to be one of my favorite pizza joints, but I hadn't gone in years. So I was like, I'm never going back. It was one of the worst pizza I've ever had. Because my wife showed me a really awesome pizza joint up in Oklahoma.
What's it supposed to be, deep dish?
No, this was just like straight up. It was a little bit thicker, but no, it wasn't deep dish. It was just normal, like a small, like pan-sized pizza, like personal pizza. And it's kind of expensive. It was like $20 for one of those little ones, and it was not good. And I used to go there, and I loved it years ago. They imported their sausage straight from Italy, and it was one of my favorite pizza joints in Phoenix, where the pizza's actually not bad. A lot of New Yorkers moved over there. And no, man, it was a letdown. I was so disappointed. I probably hadn't had it in like 5-6 years, 7 maybe, and it was a huge letdown. We'd gone at least in
Arizona?
Huh?
You said it was in Arizona or in Texas?
in Arizona.
See, it was so bad you moved to Texas.
Yeah, there you go.
So bad I got to move to Texas.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm going to be good and try to stick to my 1.5-hour time limit. Med, did you have any closing thoughts really quick? And then we'll hit Brady, and then I'll close.
Yeah, I mean, it really looks like the NFC North is starting to shape up to be the old school black and blue division, which is something I'm really looking forward to. Good competitive football for the first time in forever. All the teams up there are doing really well right now. If you are Packers fans, I would not worry about it. Elijah Brown, you need to tell me what food is the worst that you ever had. You've been putting a lot of comments in here. I want to see what food you said was bad. And I just don't think that y'all have really anything to worry about as far as Packers fans go. I mean, y'all basically lived like the golden fleece, baby Jesus and everything for the last 30 years. I mean, this is like a little blip at this point. This is, if this is what you're fearing for the next 3 weeks, it's what I've been going through for 3 decades. Sorry.
I'll come down. You brought my panic level down a little bit. Maybe they're like 5 or on the outside. Brady, when's your next show? Thank you so much for coming back on, dude. I could do this anytime with you, man. Seriously, this was a blast.
Yeah, this was great. Anytime, sure. I go live 1:00 Eastern, noon Central, Monday through Friday. And then Thursday is the show for supporters only. Those that wish to support me, it's 99 cents a month. Want to throw it, and then you get a special show. I am upping the ante on that. If you lock it in at 99 cents, you keep it at 99 cents, but I am going to move it up because I'm adding some supporter only shows, and I'm going to be backing off some of the free shows. So you get a little less of that, but I really want to reward. The people that have supported me have been so generous for so long. And I don't think I've done a good job of showing them. I give them that show and I try to tell them, thank you. I love you guys as much as I can, but I don't think I've done enough in terms of content to truly give them back the way that they've given for me. So, but yeah, as of right now, 5 days a week and just the Thursday supporter only show. And that's on the Facebook page. So facebook.com/Green Bay Packer Nation.
If I ever get to a point where we're having a supporter show, I'm going to feel really good. But no, dude, seriously, that's amazing. And that's really cool. That you're going to be doing more of those. And I've loved watching a lot of your stuff. I watch several times a week. Jason turned me on to it, and before you came on, and it helps because sometimes I need to bring my zen down. I was stressed out after the Jordan Love injury, so it helps. So I appreciate it, and you coming on this week helped as well. You and Med, because I've been how long is he going to be out? I've been stressed about it, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna just try to chill out. I'm gonna try to chill out. Me and Bill are gonna have a pick'em on Friday night. Actually, it's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern, people. We're going to be bringing on Colts and 50. I think it's Colts 56. It's a Colts show on Twitter. They're going to be coming on. We're going to be previewing the Packers and the Colts. Ironically, we're bringing a Colts show on. That wasn't a coincidence. We'll be previewing all the games. I'm really excited. Rob may be coming on. I don't know how many people they have, so they may have 3. We'll be doing that at 9 p.m. Eastern. This show was live on Twitter. And now that we're almost done, I'm going to say it. This is absolutely insane. Our highest we ever hit was almost 300. We're at almost 1,400 people watching. Thank you. That's amazing. I can't believe it. Seriously, that's awesome. It's live on Twitter.
Take it off.
Yeah, it's mostly Twitter doing it. I don't know what happened, but anyways, thank you to everybody watching. There's so many people. Peter, Elijah's still here. Joe, thank you for watching. Obviously, Bill. Some of my family members popped in. Thank you guys for watching. It means a lot, especially today was a little rough at work. So this really helps to come just get some Packer calm downness because I've been anxious. But thank you everybody for watching. Please go like and subscribe on YouTube. And I will be back with my pick'ems on Friday night. Med, when do you have shots? Next week?
Next week, Thursday, 7:15 to 8:15, right before the game, we will preview that Thursday night's game. And, of course, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me here every Tuesday at what time, Isaac? Because it bounces around a little bit.
I think we're going to stick with 7:30 Eastern is a good one, unless we have a big panel. Let's just do 7:30 Eastern. Just keep it. I like it. Let's just do it. 7:30 Eastern. We'll just do that.
And Elijah says that her worst food is the school chicken on the outside world. It's meatloaf for right now. I mean, a good meatloaf, though. I mean, you can't go wrong with it.
It can be bad. It can be bad, but a good meatloaf.
Awful. I had it for the first time in a few years. My wife's family made it a couple weeks ago, and it was actually pretty good. So I was like, okay, you can bring some more meatloaf like that into my life. That's
just real quick. Instead of ketchup, use A1. The shit's amazing. And then could do some mashed potatoes with that, so you could actually dip into it. Get your carbs and your meat good to go.
We should have done best food. Next time we bring Brady on, we need to have best food. I had some burgers this week at home that were just divine. Got them from the store. They were super good. Wife grilled them up. She's the cook. She grilled them. Oh, that was bomb with some fries. The fries came out not the best, but the burger was Texas burger is hard to beat, and steak. That was good.
I've been on the sweet potato fry kick lately.
Sweet potatoes, man. Sweet potatoes and sweet tea. Since I moved to Texas, that's a sweet tea, ladies and gentlemen. It's delicious.
Yep.
Well, actually, unsweet with sweetener. But thank you, everybody, for watching.
That's not sweet tea, then.
No, you're right. I've been good. I cut out most of the sugar in my life. So it's an unsweet tea because if I drink sweet tea all the time, my stomach does this. It won't stop. I would drink sweet tea endlessly. I would.
And Elijah, if you hit that recipe, if you do that meatloaf with the A1 and everything, come back and let us know. See how it turns.
Try it. Peter's got best food. We're gonna do best food on the next because I'm gonna be good. We're all over an hour and a half. Huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say Brady needs to probably get out and prayers to everybody who needs them. Hope everyone is doing good and
especially today.
Let's go.
Yeah.
23 years, crazy. Thank you to everybody for watching. Brady, thank you for your time and coming out with us again. Hopefully, when we bring you back on in a few weeks, you guys were right and we won another. We won a few games. Med, I hope the Bears do well. I'm going to be honest. I think it's a more fun division. So when everybody's doing well, hopefully you guys beat the Texans and everybody else. I'll see you on Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern with Bill and the Colts show. But for now, this is our. I can't believe how many viewers. So thank you for everybody for watching. That means the world. And we will see you Friday evening. Thank you, everybody.
Double horns. Oh, there it is. Here, you want to hit the button?
I can't find the video.
You wanna
There
hit
it
the
is.
button?